Hey, I wanted to give an update to my Bitcoin analysis video that I put out the other day, given the recent price movement and how I think everybody expected it to shoot to the moon as soon as the government opened back up. I also realized, I don't know why in my last video, I was talking really slow. I must have been tired. This shouldn't be very long because I don't think there's a lot to update. Two or three little things. So if you remember, we looked at this. This is the weekly, but we were on the daily, and then we zoomed into the 4 hour, and the biggest thing being this this section right here. So we have this 5-wave move and then a 3-wave connection, which is an expanding flat. At least that's what it looks like. And we had the, see if I can get them up there, the subway. So we had a smaller expanding flat, another expanding flat to make our 3-3-5 move, and then our 5 for that leg C was an ending diagonal. And the thing about the ending diagonals, zooming in there, is that I marked out all the diagonals. This is kind of where we left the video last time. And the thing I wanted to go over is just an update, because remember I had my wave 4 and my wave C way out here. Well, looking at price action, I think this last zigzag is actually just a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. This is actually going to end up being the zigzag, and I'll show you again. Do the measurements. So if we go from, those are about the same, to here, you can see B. B turns around right there. So that's a good measurement for a flat or a zigzag retracement. So then we want to forecast out where wave C should go, and you see it's really right at that. Blow it up a little bit, but it's right at what I call that sweet spot channel right there. So we've got a good turnaround. So I'm calling that a good zigzag. Therefore, that is where this wave 4 should be. So that C and that 4 are on top of each other, and in turn that's going to change where this diagonal placement goes. The upper part here is at the end of wave 2, and then we want to just parallel it down. So you can see here now we're getting definitely a contracting diagonal. And so now we've got this price movement. If you remember, I talked about the likelihood of a wave 5 in here, the 5th zigzag, maybe overthrowing down to this liquidation area from the liquidation heat map. I still think that is very much a possibility, but as I was watching this unfold, I was going to go down like to the hour to see, can we forecast, do we have a good wave B retracement yet? If that's the origin and this is A, that could be B. Could we A, B? Actually, I would put B over here as A, B, yeah. Well, I would probably make this B, and I'll show you why, because I think sometimes one of my previous videos I talked about zigzags, or maybe I haven't put that video out yet, but about a zigzag inside a zigzag inside a zigzag. When you have that, or when you have a zigzag, it's very common for wave B to be a zigzag itself. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Typically in a zigzag, very commonly, wave B, which is this middle part here, is a zigzag of its own. So to a smaller degree, you might see a zigzag like that. I'm going to make that one blue. So I'm going to go down to the 15-minute. Does that match zigzag retracement? No, it goes way past. So either way, my main point of saying this is mostly to update the fact that this level 4 is here now. I think what I was looking at was probably this as a potential zigzag. So I'll measure out these potentials and then we'll go on to the next part. Yeah, so that would work as an A, B, and then the forecast, the length of A plotted at B would put us down at right at 9,700 or so. I'm going to put a little box. I'm going to make it as big as this whole thing. I'm just going to make it permanent. And do I have a target? Yeah. It's not so much time, but price. So there's a target zone for potential retracement of this last zigzag, which is falling right in line with or pretty close to this this lower trend line. And so maybe we don't get this dip all the way down. I was going to show you one other thing, and that was in the heat map. I saw something kind of interesting. So we looked at this liquidation heat map, and we have all this stuff down here in the 90, 92, 93, all the way down to 87, and that is this big yellow box right here. This liquidation zone right here, liquidity zone, I should say. But I noticed something, and if you have any input on this or have any experience with it, I'd love to hear. So my understanding is, like, if I'm looking at the BTC 3-month heat map, I'm looking at stuff that's 3 months old, current to 3 months old. And look at how, especially this lower band here changes if I change this to the 1 month. And the biggest thing being that there actually ends up being a lot less. You know, there's much less of a liquidation on the 1 month. And maybe that's because people are starting to expect it to go down, and maybe those are closing out. So there may not be as big of a draw. There is kind of this area here from 89.5, just below 9,000 to 85.5, which is, you know, probably the bottom half of, let's see, where's, yeah, it's like the bottom half of this liquidity zone. So, you know, time will tell, obviously, but I just wanted to update that I think we got a very clear 0.4 on that zigzag. I'm going to kill those diagonals. I think we got a really clear 4 touch point to create those lines, and then you know, wave 5 of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probably going to be somewhere in there. It could go down. There may not, again, like I said, there may not be as much pool, since it seems like there's not quite as much liquidity as there was, and that would also make wave C be there. Oh, one other thing I was going to show you, that if we go, this is why I was on the weekly at the beginning of this video. If you watch Ben, I believe his name is, I don't know if it's Cohen, in the Cryptoverse guy, he's been talking about this, and that is the I guess it is on the daily, no, it's on the weekly, the 50-week moving average, this blue line right here. And one of his points was, as long as we stay above this 50-week, he thinks the bull market is still good. But if we close below, I don't say he's dead set against it or whatever, but he thinks that down is more likely. Now, I think Ben is way smarter than I am, but I was looking at this chart, this same one, and looking around going, well, yeah, I mean, I guess there's some truth to it. I guess I looked at it wrong, because I was looking at this area earlier. So there may be something to that says, you know what, we don't have An exception to it could be here. This is back in the 2017 cycle top, and then we went through a bearish time, but then it went up, and then it went below here, and then it went up. So we have had a call it a mid-cycle dip below the 50-week moving average, a significant one. That's a huge dip. I don't know what that measures out to be, but that's like 50%. I think people would lose their mind if we had a 50% dip below the 50. Man, that would take us almost to the I think this is the 200. That would be crazy. Let me check to make sure I got the right things. That would take us down into the 50s. Yeah, it's the 50 and 200. So, this is what I'm seeing. What's going to happen? Anybody's guess. And I guess we'll keep watching anyway. But that's what I'm looking like. I feel like we got a good turnaround in this upper area right here, and so we've got a good wave 4 for the contracting ending diagonal. And again, I still think that we got a contracting ending diagonal. Typically, afterwards, we see a turn to the upside. Will that happen this time? I don't know, but I feel pretty hopeful that it will. But time will tell. Let me know if you got any thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.